Good evening, and welcome back to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight I'll be continuing on with my playthrough of Eldritch Horror. This is episode 5 of the series, and we'll be starting turn 9. As a recap, we have already completed two mysteries, and we're going to be starting our third mystery at the Mountains of Madness. There is one active rumor of which we have 2 clues placed, and there are 2 Eldritch tokens remaining. So that one is going to be going off probably in somewhere between 3 to 4 turns. Currently our Doom track is at 11, and we'll press on and see if we can complete this. In order to complete the rumor, we're going to need to get 2 more clue tokens on that card, and currently the only investigator that can perform that is probably going to be Mark Harrigan with the time that's remaining. I'm going to have him attempt to get that clue token from the pyramids and then travel to South Africa and see if he can complete that rumor before it goes off. The other investigators are kind of far away, and I don't think I'd have enough time before that one goes off. If we examine the stages, we're in stage 2 right now, and we've already used a green and a yellow mystery. So that leaves 2 green and 2 yellow mysteries and 1 rumor. So we have a 40% chance of a yellow card happening, and then that would also be a reckoning, which is going to take another Eldritch token away from that rumor. So we'll have to see if we're going to be able to do this. I'm going to try to. But I think the odds are against us. We'll start out with the action phase of turn 9. Our lead investigator is Mark Harrigan. He's currently at the pyramids, and I'm going to have to leave him there because I'm going to need him to try to pick up that clue token and then be able to travel and possibly apply that towards the rumor. To begin with him, I'm going to have him conduct a rest action, and that will allow him to recover 1 sanity and 1 health. That'll bring his health up to 7 and his sanity back up to 4. And as his second action, I'm going to have him gather resources, and that will get him a second resource token. He has 2 resource tokens, 2 focus tokens, and 1 clue token right now. Okay, we'll move on to Patrice Hathaway. Okay, Patrice is currently in Panama. I'm going to have her do a travel action, and she is going to use that uncharted path and move to the Amazon. And what I'm going to have her try to do is to take out both of the cultists and then go after maybe some of those clue tokens, and then eventually try to close the gate. And then once I close the gate, I can use that special ability on the Rise of the Elder Things card that says that when the investigators resolve an otherworld encounter, they can travel to the Plateau of Lang. So I think that's what we're going to try to do with her. And then as her second action, Patrice is going to do a focus, and she'll gain a focus token. She has 1 clue and 1 focus right now. We'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. Okay, Jacqueline is currently in South Africa, but unfortunately she has no clue tokens. So I think I'm going to have her travel to the Far East and attempt to pick up some of those clue tokens, and then I can use her action ability to be able to trade those clues to other investigators on the board. So I think that's the plan for her. So what we'll do with her is we're going to do a travel action. We'll move her from Cape Town, South Africa to Bombay, India. And then while she's there, I'm going to have her do a rest action, and that will allow her to recover 1 sanity. That'll bring her sanity up to 6. She's already at full capacity on health at 4. And Kate Winthrop is up. She's currently at the City of the Elder Things. I'm going to have her do a travel action. She's going to take the uncharted path to the frozen wastes. And then at that location, eventually I'm going to have her attempt to get that clue token and then apply that towards the current mystery. But as for her second action, I'm going to have her do a rest action, and that will gain a health and sanity token. That'll bring her sanity up to 5 and her health up to 5. And that completes the action phase. We'll move on to the encounter phase. And now it is Mark Harrigan's turn. He's going to attempt to do a token encounter, and it's going to be a research encounter attempting to get that clue. And that card reads, he's in the wilderness. You plumb the depths of the cave and discover an old book and a small altar. Test lore -1. Well, unfortunately, Mark Harrigan is not the best at lore. He only has a lore value of 1. So with the test modifier, he's only going to be able to roll 1 die. And we'll see if he can pass this. Here is the roll. He rolled a 2. Okay, that's a failure. I'm going to burn one of his focus tokens. And we'll see if we can re-roll this and get a success. Rolled a 4. Well, I'm going to try one more. Let's see if we can pull this out. Odds are against us. He rolled a 5. Okay, so he's got a success, and then we're going to continue on and read what happens. It says, if you pass, you notice the ruins of a warding around the book and dispel them. Gain this clue and 1 random tome asset from the deck. Okay, that's great. All right, so he's going to gain that clue. That's his second clue. Then he's going to gain a random tome. Cultist Journal. Item, tome, magical. Gain +2 will and +2 strength during combat encounters. Well, it definitely could be helpful to him. That's good. And now we'll move on to Patrice Hathaway. She's going to have to conduct a combat encounter against each of these cultists. All right, we'll begin with the cultists have a lore -1 test, and if we can pass that, we get to gain a random ally from the deck. Patrice has a lore value of 3. She has a +1 improvement, so that's 4 -1 is 3. She'll be able to roll 3 dice. Okay, and she does have 1 focus and 1 clue. Okay, we'll make the roll. And she failed that. Okay, and fortunately that doesn't cost her any sanity. They have a sanity damage of 0. We'll have to move on to the strength test. Patrice has a strength of 1 and 2 improvements. That's a total of 3, so she'll be able to roll 3 dice with that. And I'm going to see if she has any cards that could assist her on that. No, she does not. All right, so we're going to make the roll. And she has 1 success. Okay, so that's sufficient to prevent her from taking any damage, and it will kill the cultist. Okay, so the first one is complete. And now she's going to attack the next cultist. We'll begin with the lore test. She'll have a lore -1 test. Lore is currently totals 4, so she'll be rolling 3 dice. Okay, here is the roll. She has 2 successes. Okay, that's great. So the cultist is automatically defeated, and she's going to gain a random ally asset. And that random ally asset is revealed to be a urban guide ally. If you are on a city space, investigators on your space roll 1 additional die when resolving tests, except when resolving otherworld encounters. Okay, that's great. Now, as a bonus that she has managed to defeat all of the monsters on her space, she's able to take an action. So I'm going to have her perform a research action in the Amazon. And that's revealed to be Amazon is wilderness. Okay. The Migo finds you in the ruins of an ancient city. If you have a dark pack condition, flip that condition. She does not. Shaken by your encounter, You take refuge in a still standing building for the night. She's going to test observation -1. All right. Okay, she has an observation value of 3, so we'll see if we can pass this. And she does. She has a success, so we'll continue on reading. It says if you pass, you notice an elder thing carving. Gain this clue. Okay, so she's going to gain one of the clues there. That's great. That's her second clue token. And now we're going to move on to Jacqueline Fine. She's currently in Bombay, India. And I'm going to have her undertake a location encounter. It'll be a general encounter in that city. And that one is revealed to be: the local Silver Twilight Lodge is under investigation by the police. The lodge members will gladly contribute their magic to your cause in exchange for a favor. You may gain an agreement condition to gain a boon condition. No, I'm going to pass on that. As I've stated before, I have very bad luck with those agreement conditions, and I'm going to just pass on that. So that will complete her encounter phase. All right, next up is Kate Winthrop. She's at the Frozen Wastes, and I'm going to have her do a token encounter. She's going to attempt to pick up that clue token. Now, as we're on the Antarctica board, we use an Antarctica research card as opposed to the normal research cards. And this one reads: Frozen Waste or Snowy Mountains. Okay, a terrible presence manifests in your thoughts. It is an ancient power trapped in the storm beyond the mountains. It will give you information in exchange for your help. You may gain a dark pack condition to gain this clue and one additional clue. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm deathly afraid of those dark pack conditions, so I'm going to pass on that, and we'll move on to the Mythos phase. Okay, and here's our Mythos card. It's a green card. We'll start with a Omen track advancement. We'll move from the blue to the green. We have no green gates on the board, so that's a good thing. Next is a Monster Surge. Now, as we don't have any green gates on the board, we have to spawn a gate. So that gate is going to be in Tunguska. That's a green gate. We'll get a green stand for that. Okay, and we'll place that in Tunguska. There's already a color out of space there. And now we have to draw a monster. So we'll see what we get. And this one is a Flying Polyp. Flying Polyp, it does have a reckoning effect. The reckoning effect is move this monster to the nearest space containing a gate. Well, it's going to be in Tunguska because that's where there already is a gate there, so that one won't have any effect to it. It does have a very high toughness of 4, though, so that's a tough one to get rid of. All right, we'll get a stand for that. Okay, and we'll place that Flying Polyp, Tunguska. The next is spawn clues. Okay, so we're going to be spawning 2 clues. And we'll see where those are going to be coming from. First one is in Rome. Okay, so we'll place that in Rome. And the second one is in Tunguska. Okay, it's a popular location. We'll place that in Tunguska. And then we move on to the event. It's called Buying Information. It reads, when you get there, stop at this address. The nervous little man hands you a business card for a restaurant. Ask for the catch of the day, and then tuck a sawbuck in your napkin. These guys can get you the answers you need. When you get the bill for your meal, it includes directions in a payphone, to a payphone. It's already ringing by the time you find it. You answer and explain your situation to the gruff voice on the other end of the line. All right, and that reads, event. The lead investigator tests influence and gains a number of clues equal to his test results. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Lead investigator is Mark Harrigan. His influence is 2. So he'll be able to roll 2 dice, and we'll see if he can get some clues. He has 2 successes, both double, a 5 and a 6. So he's going to be able to gain 2 clues. That is fantastic. That gives him a total of 3 clues. And that will end the turn. And now we'll begin the action phase for turn 10. We'll start with Mark Harrigan. And I'm going to have Mark do a travel action. He'll move from the pyramids to the heart of Africa. We're attempting to get him to South Africa. And then while he's in the heart of Africa, I'm going to have him perform a focus action. That'll get him 1 focus token. He has 1 focus token, 2 resources, and 4 clues now. Okay, and we'll move on with Patrice Hathaway. Okay, Patrice Hathaway is in the Amazon, and I'm going to keep her there. She's going to probably be doing a research encounter and then eventually try to close that gate. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to undertake a rest action for her. She is fully healed, but I'm going to attempt to get her to see if she can get rid of this internal injury. It says when you perform a rest action, you may roll 1 die. On a 5 or 6, discard it. Okay, so we'll give that an attempt at that and see if we can get rid of that pesky internal injury. Here's the roll. She rolls a 5. Okay, finally, we've gotten rid of it, so get rid of that. And as her second action, I'm going to have her do a focus action. That'll get her her 2nd focus token. And that'll complete her action phase. And now we'll move on with Jacqueline Fine. She is going to undertake a prepare for travel action. And I'm going to have her gain a rail ticket. So we'll give her a rail ticket. And then I'm going to have her perform a travel, and she's going to move to Shanghai. Have her try to eventually get that, try to go for that clue token there. Okay. All right, now we're moving on with Kate Winthrop. She's at the Frozen Waste. I'm going to perform a rest action that'll allow her to gain a sanity back. She has a total of 6 sanity now and 5 health. And then I'm going to have her do a gather resources action. That'll get her her 2nd resources token. And that is going to complete the action phase. And now we'll move on with our encounter phase. We'll start out with our lead investigator, Mark Harrigan. He's currently in the heart of Africa. He's going to do a location encounter. It'll be a general encounter in the wilderness. And that card is revealed to be: you try to kick open the door of an abandoned shack. Test strength. Okay, Mark has a strength of 4, and his cultist's journal allows him to gain, no, that's only during combat encounters. Okay, I guess that's the only thing he can do then is his strength of 4. He'll be able to roll 4 dice. Okay. Okay, here's the roll. And he has 1 success. He's got a 6. We'll continue reading. If you pass, the lock breaks and inside you find something useful. Gain 1 random item asset from the deck. Okay, that's great. And that random item asset is revealed to be a forbidden text. Item tome. Gain +1 will. Gain +2 will during combat encounters. Okay, that's good. All right, and now we're going to move on with Patrice Hathaway. She is in the Amazon, and she already has 2 clues. So I think rather than have her go for this additional clue, I'm going to have her try to close this gate. And then when she does a gate encounter, she's able to, after completing that, transfer to the Plateau of Leng. That'll get her to the Antarctic board, and she'll be able to apply maybe those clues towards the mystery. So I think we'll do that. We'll start out with an otherworld encounter. And that one is revealed to be City of the Great Race. You are horrified to realize that your body, the body you are inhabiting in this world, is not your own. The shock of seeing yourself in an alien, conical shell threatens to shatter your mind. Test will. Okay, well, fortunately for us, Patrice has a will of 4. I'm going to see if she has any additional cards that she can use that'll assist that. And she does have the Willful Aristocrat, which adds 1 to will. So she'll be rolling 5 dice for this test. Okay. All right, here's the roll. And she has a success. That's a 6. Okay, we'll read on here. You steel yourself against the horror of this alien body and try to recall the knowledge necessary to build a device that will return you to your body. Test lore. All right, Patrice has a lore of 3 and 1 improvement, so she has a total of 4 lore. I'm going to see if there's any other cards that could assist her. Doesn't appear to be, so she'll be rolling 4 dice for this test. All right. Okay, here is the roll. And she has no successes. All right. I think I'm going to have her use one of her focus tokens, and we'll see if we can re-roll one of those. All right, here's the roll. She rolls a 2. All right, I think I'm going to just, I have one more focus token left, but I'm going to put that into reserve. I'm not going to use that, so we'll read on. If you pass, the machine works, close this gate. If you fail, the machine malfunctions, lose 2 health. All right, well, that's going to drop Patrice down from 5 down to 3 health. I wonder if I should spend that other focus token. I think I will. Before I do that, I'm going to spend one more focus, and we'll see if we can get a success here and close the gate. Here's the roll. She rolls a 6. Okay, what do you know? That is great. So we've closed the gate. I'm glad I did that. So we've spent the two focus tokens, but the gate is closed. And then now, since she has completed an otherworld encounter, she's going to move to the Plateau of Lang on the Antarctic board. So that's great. That worked out good. And now that we've closed the gate in the Amazon, I'm going to add that to the stack of Kate Winthrop's Resonance card. And then that gives her her 4th gate. If she gets 5 total, then she'll be able to get the reward, I understand. So she's got 4 now. That's great. And now we'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. She's in Shanghai. I'm going to have her do a token encounter, and we're going to have her do a research encounter, attempting to get that clue. So we're going to draw a card, research card, and that one is revealed to be, we're in a city. You found an incantation that can disrupt the magical hold on the minds of the dominated citizens. Test lore -1. Okay, Jacqueline Fine has a lore of 4, so that'll allow her to roll 3 dice. Okay, here is the roll. She rolls 2 successes. That's fantastic. If you pass, you put the magic to good use, gain this spell, and retreat Doom by 1. That is great. Okay, so the Doom track is going to move from 11 to 12, and we've gained the clue. All right, excellent job by Jacqueline Fine. And now we move on to Kate Winthrop. She's in the Frozen Waste, and I'm going to have her do a token encounter, and she's going to attempt to research that clue using the Antarctic research cards. Okay, we'll draw the next card here, and we're in the Frozen Waste. You see time turn back and forth across millennia. You watch how the elder things have evolved. Test observation. Okay, well, Kate has an observation value of 4. And she also has an ally, which gains +2 observation during research encounters. So that's really great. So that's going to allow her to roll 6 dice. Okay, we'll see if we can pass this. Okay, here is the roll. And she has two successes. We'll roll these other ones too. Yeah, total of 2 successes. Okay. And it reads, if you pass, you see them grow less sophisticated over time. Gain the clue. Okay, great. So that is her second clue. And I think we'll be able to do something with the mystery now. Let's see what we've got. After an investigator resolves an encounter on a space containing an Eldritch token, he may spend 2 clues to place that Eldritch token on this card. All right, the only thing there is encounter. Well, let's just see what that, I'm going to check the frequently asked questions and see the definition of encounter. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that's what that is. An encounter is any type of an encounter, a research encounter, otherworld encounter. So any of those would work. So she's going to spend 2 clues and to place the Eldritch token on the card. So she'll be able to place the Frozen Waste Eldritch token on the card. We need only 1 more to solve our 3rd of 4 mysteries. That's great. We're doing pretty well. And now we're going to move on to the Mythos phase. We have a very high chance of getting a reckoning effect on this, this coming one. Okay, and our Mythos card is, oh, it's a blue one, a rumor. Okay, we'll begin with spawning clues. So we're going to spawn 2 clues. And those are revealed to be in space 10 and in Istanbul. All right. Okay, space 10 is in Dakar, French West Africa. And Istanbul is right there. Okay, next is we have to place 3 Eldritch tokens on the card. So we'll get out 3 Eldritch tokens, place those on the card, and then we resolve what it says. It's twin spawn of Cthulhu, a dark force hidden in the southernmost part of the world has torn the twin spawn of Cthulhu free from their bonds on Jupiter. Vast in size, the duo now leave horror and devastation in their wake. The twin spawn of Cthulhu. When this card enters play, spawn the Nyctosa epic monster on space 12 and the Nyctolthu epic monster on space 18. When both have been defeated, resolve this rumor. Oh boy. When there are no Eldritch tokens on this card, each investigator loses 6 sanity. Then resolve this rumor. It also has a reckoning effect. Discard 1 Eldritch token from this card unless the investigators as a group spend clues equal to half the investigators. All right, we're going to get out those epic monsters and place those on the board. All right, so we're going to place Nyctosa on space 12. We'll get out a epic monster stand, put that in there, and then that is going to go into space 12. Let's take a look at this thing first. It has physical resistance. It's a will -1 test with a horror value of 2, strength test with a damage of 3, and its toughness is equal to half the investigators plus 2. So that would give us a toughness of 4. Okay, that's a pretty tough creature there. Second one is Nyctulu. And that one has a will test with a sanity damage of 3, strength -1 with damage 2, and toughness is equal to half the investigators plus 2, so another 4 toughness. And that one is going to go on space 18. So it's all in the South Atlantic and South Indian Oceans. All right. Place that creature here, so that's a tough one. When both have been defeated, solve this rumor. So we're going to have 6 sanity loss. Boy, that's going to kill Mark. That would kill Mark Harrigan. The other 3, if they were at full capacity, could survive that if it went off. But Harrigan would go insane. All right, we're going to keep this with the 3 Eldritch tokens on the board, and we'll have to just see what happens. That's going to complete the Mythos phase. We'll move on to turn 11. Okay, we'll begin with our action phase. That's Mark Harrigan. I'm going to have him do a travel action. He's going to move from the heart of Africa using the uncharted path into Cape Town, South Africa. Then I'm going to have him use a component action, and that is this Divermis Mysterious action. Test lore. If you pass, you may spend 1 sanity to improve 1 skill of your choice. And I'm going to try to do that because if he tries to undertake to finish this ongoing rumor, he needs to test his observation. So we're going to see if we can bring his observation values up. So we'll try it. He's going to have to make a lore test, which unfortunately he's not very good at. He's only going to get 1 dice on that. So we'll just give it a shot. Okay, here is the roll. Rolled a 3, so no love there. All right, and that will complete Mark Harrigan's turn. Okay, now we were on with Patrice Hathaway. She's in the Plateau of Lang following her other world encounter in the Amazon. And I'm going to have her undertake a focus action and a gather resources action. That will get her 1 resource and 1 focus token with 2 clue tokens. That's what she has right now. And now we'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. Okay, now we're on with Jacqueline Fine. She's currently in Shanghai. I'm going to have her do a travel action. She's going to use that sea space and travel to Tokyo. Her next action is going to be a component action. That's from her card. It says you may trade any number of clues with an investigator in any space. So I'm going to send that clue that Jacqueline already has, and we're going to give that to Kate Winthrop on the Frozen Wastes. Okay. All right, now it is Kate Winthrop's turn. She's at the Frozen Waste. I'm going to have her use the uncharted path. She's going to do a travel action to Lake Camp. And she's going to undertake this local action. Test influence. If you pass, gain 1 dog sled unique asset. Investigators on this space may perform the acquire assets action. All right, well, I think I will have her go for that dog sled team. So she's going to test influence. She has an influence of 2. We'll see if she's able to do this. Okay, here is the roll. She has a success. Okay, so she's going to gain a dog sled unique asset. All right, and that dog sled unique asset is an ally. And as an action, it can move to an adjacent space on the Antarctica sideboard and then perform 1 additional action. Okay, that's good. It kind of increases our mobility on the Antarctica board. And now we're going to start our encounter phase with Mark Harrigan. He's currently in Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm going to have him undertake a token encounter and see if he can complete this rumor, this active rumor called Scavengers. We already have 2 clues there, and he has 4 clues, so if he's able to perform this test, we'll be able to get rid of this rumor. It reads, as an encounter, an investigator on space 15 may investigate. Test observation -1. Okay, unfortunately Harrigan has an observation of 2 only, so he's only going to be able to roll 1 die. So I'm going to have to hope that we can complete this. He does have a focus token and 4 clues. Okay, here is the roll. This is a tough one. He rolled a 2. Okay, we're definitely going to be spending our focus token. Try and re-roll that. Okay, here is the roll. He rolled a 6. He did it. All right. He's going to spend the 2 clues, placing those on the rumor. And it says, if he passes, he may spend clues equal to the number of investigators to solve the rumor. So that will get rid of that rumor. Scavenger's rumor is gone. We can get rid of the rumor token. And now we can focus our attention on this twin spawn of Cthulhu. All right, great. All right, now we're going to move on to Patrice Hathaway. She is at the Plateau of Lang, and she's going to do a token encounter and attempt to to pick up that clue token. So that will be a Antarctica research card. And we'll give a draw of that and see what it says. She's at Plateau of Lang. Okay, using what equipment you have, you study some black seeds you found in the snow. Test observation -1. Okay, Patrice has an observation of 3. So that will allow her to roll 2 dice. Okay. We'll see if she can pass this. Okay, here's the roll. She did. She's got a 5. Outstanding. And it reads, if you pass, you're sure that they are of alien origin. Gain this clue. Okay, that is great. We're going to take that clue, and that is the 3rd clue for Patrice Hathaway. All right. I think in the future what we're going to do then is I'm going to have her next turn move up to the City of the Elder Things, and then she can undertake that Eldritch token encounter and see if we can add those past that, and then that would solve our 3rd mystery potentially. So that's great. And now we have Jacqueline Fine. She's in Tokyo, and she's going to undertake a token encounter and attempt to research that clue. So we'll be using a standard research card. She's in a city, and that reads, the city is completely under the sway of the Elder Things, but the library contains a copy of Professor Dyer's expedition report. You must hide your fear to get past the librarian. Test will. Okay, Jacqueline Fine has a will of 3, so that will allow her to roll 3 dice. Okay, we'll see if she can pass this. She gets a success. She's got a 5. Excellent. Okay, and it reads, if you pass, gain this clue. Okay, that's great. We're making some headway. So that we'll give that clue to Jacqueline. That's her first clue. And now it's Kate Winthrop's turn. She's at the lake camp. Now, unfortunately, Kate only has 1 clue, so she wouldn't have sufficient amount to try to go and use that Eldritch encounter. So she's going to have to take a location encounter at Lake Camp, and that's what we're going to do. And that encounter reads, Professor Lake's radio broadcasts have brought another plane to investigate the wreckage. You may discard 1 clue to share vital information with the newcomer. If you spend the clue, gain 1 random ally asset from the deck. Well, we'll think about that. I think I'm going to pass on that, and I'm going to hang on to the clue token. You never know when we're going to need that. And that is going to complete the encounter phase. We'll move on to the mythos phase. And we'll move on with our mythos phase. And here's the card. It's called Spa Resort Weekend. We begin with a Omen track advancement. We'll go from green to blue. And there are no blue gates on the board, so we have no advancement to the Doom track. And the next is a Reckoning phase, and we'll do that in the order of monsters to start with. So we'll look for monsters with Reckoning effects. And there are 2 of them. One of them is the Flying Polyp, but I don't believe that's going to apply. It says, move the monster to the nearest space containing a gate. Well, it's already at a space with a gate, so it'll stay there. The other one is on the Antarctica board, and that is a Ligor. And that says, each investigator on this space or an adjacent space loses 1 health and 1 sanity. So that will affect Kate Winthrop. She is at Lake Camp, which is adjacent to Miskatonic Outpost. So she's going to lose a health and sanity because of that. That will lower her down to 4 health and 5 sanity. Okay. And then we move on to the Ancient One. That one does not have any Reckoning effects. And then it's Mythos cards. Well, there is one. It's this one that we just drew recently, Twin Spawn of Cthulhu. Discard one Eldritch token from this card unless the investigators as a group spend clues equal to half the investigators. Well, I think we're going to have to do something with that, and I'm going to donate one from Mark Harrigan and one from Patrice Hathaway. We'll spend 2 clues, that's half the number of investigators, and that will keep that from having to discard one of the Eldritch tokens. And then there's one more. This was an active card we had at the side of the board called Corrupted Business. It says each investigator loses 2 sanity for each deal condition he has, then discard this card. None of the investigators have a deal condition, so that's good. We can get rid of that card. Now we'll move on to the investigators' conditions and possessions. And Harrigan, Hathaway, and Fine, they have no conditions or possessions that will have any reckoning effects, but Kate Winthrop has 2 items. And the 2 cards that Kate has are Scales of Thoth and Conspiracy Theorist. Conspiracy Theorist says roll a die. On a 4, 5, or 6, gain a clue. Okay, so we'll do that. Rolled a 1, so nothing there. And then Scales of Thoth, lose 1 health and or sanity. All right. And she's going to lose 1 sanity, and that will give her 4 sanity and 4 health. And that is good because the Scales of Thoth have to be in balance in order to be used. And then we have to spawn a gate. And the next gate is in the Heart of Africa, and that's a red gate. We'll get a stand for that. Okay, and we'll place that in the Heart of Africa. And then we have to draw a monster to spawn there. And that one is revealed to be Hound of Tindalos. That has a reckoning effect. Move this monster to the nearest space containing an investigator. Then an investigator on that space immediately encounters it. Okay, so it's a relatively difficult one. It's got a toughness of 3. Okay, we'll get a stand for the Hound of Tindalos. And then we move on to the event. It's called Spa Resort Weekend event. Each investigator resolves one of the following effects. Recover 1 health and 1 sanity, or lose 1 health and 1 sanity to gain a talent condition. All right. Okay, we'll begin with Harrigan. He's going to gain a health. That will bring him up to full capacity of 8 health. And Patrice Hathaway is going to spend 1 health and 1 sanity to gain a talent. That puts her down to 4 health and 6 sanity. And the talent that she's going to gain is going to be Attuned. When resolving a spell effect, you may gain +2 lore. If you do, flip this card before resolving the test. When you gain this card from the deck, gain 2 spells, then discard 1 spell. Okay, great. And the 2 spells that she has are Conjuration and Poison Mist. Conjuration, action, test lore +1. If you pass, you may gain 1 item or trinket asset from the reserve with the value equal to or less than your test result. Then flip the card. Poison Mist. Ritual, action, test lore +1. If you pass, discard monsters from your space with total toughness equal to or less than your test result. Then flip this card. Well, I think she's going to go with the Conjuration spell. She already has a banishment spell, which is similar to that, so I think we'll go with that. And we'll put Poison Mist in the discards. And Jacqueline Fine, she's going to gain a sanity. She's already full on the health, but the sanity will bring her up to a total of 7 out of her possible 8. And Kate Winthrop was going to gain a health and a sanity. That'll bring her health up to 5 and sanity up to 5. And that completes the Mythos phase. We'll move on to turn 14. I'm sorry, turn 12. Now we'll continue on with the action phase for turn 12, and we have Mark Harrigan up. Mark is in the city of Cape Town. I'm going to have him attempt an action. We're going to have him try acquire assets. He's going to do a test of influence, and then we can see if we can purchase anything from the reserve. He has a influence of 2, but he does have 2 resource tokens. So, all right, here is the roll. He has no successes, but he does have 2 resource tokens, and we're going to spend those 2 resource tokens to pick up a 45 automatic. So we'll spend the 2 resource tokens. That gets us a total of 2 successes, and he gains the 45 automatic. The 45 automatic has a gain of +3 to strength during combat encounters, and that's a little bit better than his 38 revolver. So, all right, we'll go with that. And his next action is going to be a travel action. We're going to go after this epic monster here on space 18. That's Nictolthu. And we'll move him to that location, and then he will combat that creature during the encounter phase. Okay, next up is Patrice Hathaway. She is going to conduct a rest action that will get her a health and sanity back, bringing her up to 5 health and 7 sanity. Then I'm going to have her do a travel action. She's going to take that uncharted path from Plateau of Lang to the city of the Elder Things. And from there, during the encounter phase, she's going to attempt to get those that last Eldritch token onto the mystery. Next up is Jacqueline Fine. She's currently in Tokyo. I'm going to have her perform her component action, which is you may trade any number of clues with an investigator on any space. Well, I'm going to have her give her clue token to Mark Harrigan, and that might help him in his battle for that coming battle he's going to have with the epic monster. So that gives him 2 clue tokens. He doesn't have any focus tokens, but he will have 2 clue tokens. And now I'm going to have her do a travel action. She'll take the sea path to Vladivostok and see if she can maybe go after that clue token in the coming encounter phase. And now it's Kate Winthrop's turn. I'm going to have her do a travel action. She's going to use the uncharted path, travel from Lake Camp to the Frozen Waste. And then I'm going to have her do a rest action. And that will move her sanity up from 5 to 6. Her health is already at max at 5. And that's going to complete the action phase, and we'll move on to the encounter phase of turn 12. Okay, we'll move on to the encounter phase. We'll begin with our lead investigator, Mark Harrigan. He's in the South Indian Ocean, and he's going to do a combat encounter against the Nithelu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Okay, now this creature has magical resistance. So let's see what cards he can use for this encounter. First step is he has to perform a will check. So we'll see if we do have any cards that will help us with that. And we do. We have a cultist's journal, which gives us +2 to will, +2 strength during combat encounters. So we'll start with that. He has a will ability of 4, and then the +2 from the cultist's journal will give him a total of 6 dice. Okay, we'll roll 6 dice. Let's see what we get. Okay, here's the roll. And he has a total of 2 successes. Now the creature has a horror value of 3, so he's going to take a 1 sanity loss on that. So we're going to move his sanity down from 4 down to 3. And now we have to undertake a strength -1 test. And he is going to use his 45 automatic. It's going to give him a +3 to strength during combat encounters. His strength is 4, plus the 3 from the 45 automatic, minus the 1 for the creature, will be a total of 6 dice. Okay, here is the roll. We do have 2 clue tokens if we want to burn those. Okay, here's the roll. Okay, we have 1 success. I'm going to roll this one in the box if I can. That's a failure. So we have 1 success. All right. Well, he's going to take 1 sanity damage, 2 damage minus the 1 success. He'll take health damage. That moves him down to 7. And then the creature is going to take 1 health damage. We need 4 total to defeat that creature. And that's all we can do with that encounter. All right, now we move on to Patrice Hathaway. She's at the City of the Elder Things, and she's going to do a token encounter and attempt to perform the test on this mystery. And it says, after an investigator resolves an encounter on a space containing an Eldritch token, he may spend 2 clues to place that Eldritch token on this card. So in that case, then she's going to resolve not a token encounter, but a location encounter at the City of the Elder Things. So we'll do that. And that one is revealed to be, you push against an enormous stone door that bears the image of Cthulhu. Strength -1. Okay, her strength is a 1 plus 2 for improvement, minus the 1 on the test, will give her a total of 2 dice. Okay, we'll see if she can pass this. Okay, here's her roll. She failed that test. Okay. She does have a focus token, so I think we'll spend that. And we'll see if we can re-roll one of those dice. Okay. Here's the roll. And it's another failure. All right, she does have clue tokens, but we're going to need those for the mystery. So we'll just read on. It says here, if you fail, you are unable to open the door and collapse exhausted, lose 1 health, and gain a back injury condition. Okay, so she's going to lose a health. That brings her down to 4, and then she's going to gain a back injury condition. And now she's gained the back injury, and that says when you perform a rest action, you may roll 1 die on a 5 or 6, discard it. During a reckoning, it would be a test of strength. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, so she's completed a encounter at the City of the Elder Things, which has the Eldritch token. So she's going to spend 2 clue tokens. It says here that if you spend the 2 clue tokens, you can place the Eldritch token on the card. Well, that's going to be the 2nd Eldritch token. And at the end of the Mythos phase, there are Eldritch tokens equal to half the number of investigators to solve the mystery. So we're going to be solving this mystery, our 3rd mystery, at the end of this Mythos phase. So that's great. And now we're going to move on to Jacqueline Fine. She is in Vladivostok, and she's going to do a token encounter there and attempt to acquire that clue token. And that research is listed as, this is a wilderness. Okay, it reads, a group of elder things is passing by your camp, unaware of your presence. You attempt to pursue them without being noticed. Test observation. Okay, Jacqueline Fine has an observation value of 3. So we'll get a little 3 dice. She does have 2 focus tokens. We need them. Okay, here's her test roll. She's failed that. Okay, we're going to spend 1 of those focus tokens and see if we can roll again. Okay, here we go. She rolled a 4. Well, I think I'll roll 1 more. We'll use our last focus token to see if we can get a success here. And she did. She's got a 6. So that's great. And we'll read on. It says, if you pass, you follow them to their camp. Gain this clue. All right, so that is great. We'll gain the clue from Vladivostok. That is her first clue. Did cost us a few focus tokens, but that's all right. And now we'll move on with Kate Winthrop. She's at the Frozen Waste, and we're going to have her, let me put this mystery card back. We're going to have her perform a location encounter at the Frozen Waste. And that one is revealed to be: a pilot is starving out here alone. You assure him you have enough food for the both of you. Test influence. Okay, Kate has an influence value of 2. Let me see if there's any cards that will be able to help her. Nope, not at this point. So she's going to have an influence value of 2, and she does have 2 clue tokens. Okay, here is the roll. And she's failed a 4 and a 1. Okay, I think I'll spend one of her focus tokens and we'll re-roll one of those dice. Okay, here we go. Rolled a 3. And I think that'll be as far as we're going to go. I want to keep 1 in reserve, so we'll continue reading. And it says, if you fail, he runs off with your food, and your hunger becomes unbearable in the following days. Gain a hunger condition. All right, so she's going to gain a hunger condition. Okay, and that hunger condition is a madness. When you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Roll a die. On a 4, 5, or 6, discard this card. It also has a reckoning effect. Test will. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, that is going to complete our encounter phase, and we'll go on to the mythos phase. All right, and our mythos card is Rally the People. Begins with a omen track advance. So we're going to move the omen track from a blue to a red. We have several red gates on the board. We have a total of 3 red gates. So that's going to move the doom track down 3. That'll move from 12 down to 9. All right, that I should have probably addressed that. Put more emphasis on closing those red gates. All right, next is a reckoning step, and we'll begin with monsters. We have several monsters on the board with reckoning effects. Okay, now we have one here. This is the Hound of Tindalos. And that one says, move this monster to the nearest space containing an investigator. Then an investigator in that space immediately encounters it. Okay, closest space, well, that looks like it's going to be Harrigan. 2 spaces away. 1, 2, yep. So that's what's going to happen, and then Mark Harrigan is going to have to encounter that out of turn. We'll take care of that right now. Okay, Harrigan has to start with a will test. He has a will of 4, and then his cultist's journal gives him +2 to will. So that'll be a total of 6. So we'll have him roll 6 dice. Okay, creature has a horror value of 2. Okay, here we go. And he's rolled 1 success. So that 1 horror hit will happen against Harrigan. That will move him down from 3 down to 2 sanity. To be very careful with him. And then finally we have a strength test. And Harrigan is going to use his 45 automatic, which gives him a +3 to strength. So he has a strength of 4 plus the 3 from the 45 minus the 1 for the creature. He'll be rolling 6 dice. If he can get 3 successes, we'll defeat the creature. Okay, here's the roll. And he did. He's got 3 successes, 2 5s and a 6. So he'll take no wound damage and he will defeat the creature. That is great. Now, as a part of Mark's personal history, it's called Shadowed Heart. When you defeat a non-epic monster during a combat encounter, place that monster on this card. Then if the total of toughness of monsters on this card is 10 or greater, discard this card and gain the Reason to Live reward. All right, so we'll place that creature on that card. That's great. And the other monsters with Reckoning effects are the Flying Polyp, but that one is just that it moves to the move the monster to the nearest space with a gate. Well, it's already in a space with a gate. And then the other one was the Ligor in the Miskatonic Outpost. That says that each investigator on this space or an adjacent space loses 1 health and 1 sanity. Well, there's no one adjacent to them anymore, so that will conclude the Monsters Reckoning effects. And we'll move on to the Mythos cards. Okay, we do have 1 active Mythos card. That's the Twin Spawn of Cthulhu. And it says discard 1 Eldritch token from this card unless the investigators as a group spend clues equal to half the investigators. Well, I think as a precaution, until we can get at least one of these creatures under control, I think I will do that. I'm going to have Mark Harrigan spend 1, and I'm going to have Jacqueline Find spend a clue, and that will keep us from having to discard one of those Eldritch tokens. All right, Patrice Hathaway has a back injury, and that has a Reckoning effect. It says test strength. If you fail, flip the card. Patrice has a total strength now of 3, so that'll allow her to roll 3 dice, and we'll see if she can pass this. She did. She's got 2 successes, so no problem. The card will go back. And then we have Kate Winthrop. She has a hunger madness condition. It says test will. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, Kate Winthrop has a will of 2. And let's see if there's any cards that might help her. No, not really. The Sword of St. Jerome is a +2 to will, but only during combat encounters. So she's only going to get the 2 dice. Okay, here's her roll. And she's failed, so we have to flip the card. And that reads Bloodlust. The hunger has been growing for days, and you lose yourself to your gluttonous desires. When you awake, your hands and face are smeared with blood, and your companion lies dead before you. Another investigator on your space loses 2 health, and you lose 1 sanity and discard 1 ally asset. Then flip this card. Okay, we have no other ally on that space with, no other investigator on the space with Kate Winthrop. She's at the Frozen Waste. So she's going to lose a sanity. That'll bring her down to a total of 5 sanity. And then she is going to discard an ally card. She's going to discard the dog sled. So it looks like she got hungry enough where the dog looked good to her. So that's going to be discarded. And then we have to flip the card, and she'll still maintain that hunger condition. All right, that completes the reckoning step. Now we have to spawn a gate. And that gate is going to appear in the City of the Elder Things. That's a blue gate. Okay, so we're going to get a blue stand for that. And we'll place that at the City of the Elder Things. And then a monster is going to appear there. And that one is revealed to be a crawling one. Okay, that has a toughness of 3, a standard will and strength check. It has magical resistance, however. And that says damage is equal to your strength. So that's kind of a dangerous creature. Okay, we'll get a stand for that. And then we'll move on to the event. And that reads, Rally the People. After the noise and violence is over, one of the shopkeepers peers from his shuttered windows. Amazed to see you alive, he opens the window and calls out, Is it over? Are we safe? You wave to let him know that everything is fine. Rally the People event. The lead investigator gains 1 random ally asset from the deck. Okay, great. Okay, and he's going to gain Hitman ally. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 1 random weapon asset from the deck. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Alright, that's great. So we're going to get a weapon asset from the deck as well. And it's not much of a weapon. It's a 32 Colt pocket. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during combat encounter. So the re-roll will be helpful though. That's good. Alright, and that is going to complete the Mythos phase. And then at that time, we're also going to be able to complete a mystery. Move these cards out of the way. And it says, at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on this card equal to half the investigators, solve the mystery. So we've got 2 Eldritch tokens. That is going to solve the At the Mountains of Madness mystery. So that's our 3rd mystery. We only have 1 to go. And now let's see what the final mystery will be. Okay, and that final mystery is Discovery of an Ancient Civilization. The return of the Miskatonic expedition brought rumors of a strange, unknown civilization nestled in the heart of the Antarctic wastes. But lately, there have been reports of these previously unknown creatures all over the globe. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend 1 clue he gained from that encounter to place the clue on this card. At the end of the Mythos phase, if there are clues on this card equal to the number of investigators, solve the mystery. So we're going to need a total of 4 clue tokens on this card in order to do that. We've got plenty of clues on the board, and we're going to have to just be able to get to those locations and then apply those clue tokens gained from the research encounters to the card. So we definitely is a strong possibility we can do that. Alright, that concludes the Mythos phase, and I think I'm going to end the video here. The investigators have done fairly well. We've had some small issues where they have acquired some conditions, injuries and madness conditions, but nothing I don't think we can handle. Biggest problem for the short term is this twin spawn of Cthulhu. These 2 epic monsters are definitely going to be a handful. One of them is magic resistance and one is physical resistance, I believe. Yes. So we're going to have a plan to see if we can get rid of those. We can continue to burn clue tokens in order to prevent us from having to discard the Eldritch tokens. So we could, some point, we could keep that going indefinitely, but we need those clue tokens to solve the mysteries. So we're going to regroup again. The next is going to be turn 13. And I hope to see you again, and we'll see if we can complete this playthrough of Eldritch Horror. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.